Something else that's been really hard is I'm mad and I take it out on my partner. I think it's pretty normal for women when we have hormones to either feel really close to our partner or completely like, leave me the fuck alone, excuse my language. Don't touch me. Even feelings of disgust have been coming up. Now, I'm a Jewess, I'm a Jewish woman, and in Judaism, we sort of have this built-in safety measure, because in Judaism, there is an awareness of how men and women and hormones work. And so in Judaism, we have something called Niddah, which is this observance of laws of family purity, whereby which when a woman is bleeding, whether that's menstruation or miscarriage or post-childbirth, her and her husband are not intimate. Now, Orthodox Jews observe this by literally no touching. Like, I'm not even allowed to pass my husband something. I'm not an Orthodox Jew, so we practice by when I am in Niddah, just sleeping separately. But we touch each other still, like he can give me a hug or pass me something or hold my hand. But we've found that when I am in Niddah, or when I start bleeding or menstruating for 12 days, as is, you're supposed to do 5 + 7 days of no touching. And this extends to like any time that there is blood coming from a woman, from her reproductive organs. This is a time when the men and the women are not supposed to touch. And the idea is that the woman is spiritually impure. And I know this wording could make people, have a cow and freak out and think, wow, that's so sexist, but it's not. It doesn't mean impure is bad. It just means that spiritually, we are open. And I think as a woman, you can know this, that when you're bleeding, whether it's from a miscarriage or from just your moon, your period, we are open and we are portals to another world, and a lot can come through that. And blessings, life can come through that, but so too can death. And if we're bleeding, what is coming through us right now is the energy of death, which naturally begets life. The secret in Judaism is that the impure actually purifies. But there are certain ways to transform the impurity into purity. And one of them is for women to observe this time when they are with the energy of death coming through them, to not touch men, because it can bring that energy to men. And the fact of the matter is it's a very, very powerful energy. And women, we are powerful enough in our physical forms to handle the energy of being a portal for life and death. But men cannot. They were not created that way. And so when I first miscarried, we weren't observing Niddah. We were sleeping in the same bed when I miscarried. And it was confusing, but after a few days, we realized I need my space in my bed to just be in my body, in my process, and we've been getting along a lot better since then. And I want to acknowledge that in miscarriage, there's a lot of confusing feelings. Grief is not as black and white as just sadness. There is guilt, there is bargaining, there is anger, there is fear, there is devastation, there is denial, there is a whole spectrum. And one of the things that I am having to contend with is my own anger at my partner. If he had done this, if this had been that way, then the baby would still be here. And taking it out on him because I can't sit with my feelings of grief. And if he's in the room, he's an easy target to excise the feelings and just push them out onto him. And, miscarriage can end relationships. In fact, something like under 25% of relationships don't make it after a miscarriage. And that has a lot to do with both partners having such emotionally different experiences and not being able to find peace or reconciliation or communicate their experience or understand the other person, or simply, I can't handle these feelings and so I'm going to identify you as the cause of them. And so we have been pulsing through some difficult energies of him being supportive and me being grateful and being sad and being angry and projecting a lot of feelings of anger onto him, or just feeling like, why didn't you get this? Like, I am going through this feeling, this experience. Why are you not understanding this? And I think menstruation and miscarriage, as well as pregnancy, kind of highlight how very different male and female creatures are. And it's kind of a profound act that we even do try and live together and relate. And of course we need to. There would be no continuation of our species. And yet it requires immense skill and commitment, and to maintain and continue to nurture and cultivate a relationship after miscarriage is no small feat. And if you're doing it, just be aware that you are in an alchemical container and chamber and process, and your relationship may just burst into flames and end, or you may grow deeper and closer and have a greater awareness of yourself and your partner from this experience. So hang in there.